What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Bones and Brews. Today we are going to make a Cajun crawfish jalapeno popper, hoping that those ingredients explode in your mouth even faster than a SpaceX rocket. Let's get started. So you guys have seen me make a ton of different variations of jalapeno poppers. I don't need to bore you with all the full details, but a couple of things to remind yourself of. Typically, if we're going to use cream cheese, we want to pull that cream cheese out for a little bit, let it soften to get those ingredients going. And then what you want to do is begin to prep those jalapenos so then you're ready to go into the next step. So we're going to get those jalapenos ready. Jalapenos are ready, so let's go ahead and start building that mix that's going to be inside those jalapenos. I kind of got some larger jalapenos today. Most are big, you know, there's never two jalapenos that are identical, at least that I can find. So I'm using actually 2 blocks of cream cheese for this day, but only because I chose those larger jalapenos. I sliced open actually enough of them to give me about 14 to 16 bacon wrapped jalapenos here. I saved a couple of small jalapenos and I'll tell you why if you stick around. All right, so got both of these cream cheeses opened up. We'll get them in our bowl and we'll start to build the rest of this mixture. Once again, I cannot emphasize enough the importance of trying to let that cream cheese soften a little bit here before you get everything else going in that bowl. There we go. All right, so we got 2 blocks of that cream cheese. Now I'm going to now add a little bit more cheese to this mixture. I took a block of sharp cheddar cheese inside, shredded a little bit of that. So this is about a cup of that shredded cheddar cheese, sorry. All right, so we'll get that in there. And then also about a cup of freshly shredded Monterey Jack cheese. I always recommend shredding it yourself if time allows, so you don't get all those chemicals they put on those bagged shredded cheeses to preserve it. Just not as good if you ask me, especially, and it also just doesn't melt as easily in something like this. All right, so next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna take some Creole seasoning. All right, find one that you love. We're gonna add some of that seasoning in the mix. All right. And then we're going to start to slowly, I like to use a fork first, or you could use a mixer, only because that cream cheese is semi-soft and I want to kind of blend those cheeses together. This is going to take a few minutes and then we're going to come back and add our crawfish to the mix. Cheeses are mixed together really well here. So I've got myself, I had bought myself not too long ago 2 pounds of this frozen crawfish tail meat. I used about a pound of it in a different recipe, threw the rest of it back in the freezer for today's recipe. So they're already pre-cooked, so you don't have to worry about that. But because of their crawfish tails, I'm gonna put them on my cutting board here and get myself a knife. I'm gonna chop them up just a little bit so they'll mix a little easier. Get that last tail out of there. There we go. So they will mix just a little easier when we put them in that cream cheese. Okay, got the crawfish chopped up. We're gonna go ahead and kind of scoop this up. Go ahead and get it into the rest of this mix here. Now, once again, these are frozen crawfish tails that are pre-cooked. So if you buy something like this, make sure you pull them out maybe the night ahead of time, let them thaw out so you have them. And now, because I've already mixed it once, grab myself a spoon this time and continue to mix these ingredients together till those crawfish tails are mixed evenly inside that cream cheese. Crawfish tails are mixed beautifully in that cheese mix. Remember, jalapenos are ready, so our next step here is to get that bacon out. So what we're gonna do is have that bacon ready, and we're gonna kind of pre-pull back a couple of pieces here. All right, so what we're gonna do is take each jalapeno. I'll show you real quick how to make one, and I'll do the rest of these off camera. So we're gonna take some of that cream cheese mix, fill that jalapeno. Don't be shy when you do that. All right, so then what I'm gonna do next is grab myself 1 slice of that thinner cut bacon. Start near the top You notice I kept the stem on those when I cut those as well. Just better for presentation. You don't have to do that. I just love doing that when I'm making bacon wrap jalapenos. All right, and so one slice of that thinner cut bacon should wrap completely around. So then after that, we'll be grabbing ourselves a little seasoning to put on that bacon as well. I'm gonna use some of that Meat Church Holy Voodoo. And we're just gonna sprinkle some of that across the top as well. And then that's how we're gonna get each of these ready. And we'll get them on a rack and get them on a smoker. So let me finish making these jalapenos. All right, got all those jalapenos done, got them coated in that seasoning. Get them on the Oklahoma Joe Bronco Pro drum smoker back here, got going at about 250 degrees. We'll get them on there, bring that heat up just a little bit so that bacon get nice and crispy as well, all right? All right, I promised you guys what I would show you what we do with the extra mix. So I got myself a little small cast iron. You can use an aluminum pan if you want. I'm gonna take the rest of that mix and put it right here in the pan. Now you might have some people who don't want the messiness of those jalapenos, but they want to kind of have that same experience. So you could use the rest of that mix as almost a dip. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and throw all this in here. Birds are everywhere over here. All right, so we're gonna get that spread in the pan. All right. All right, and because I got a few flies going around here out here today, I'm gonna grab myself just a paper towel off of here. We're gonna kind of cover this just a little bit, try our best to keep the flies out of this today as well. All right, while that is covered for a moment, so I kept a couple extra jalapenos. So what you're gonna do is just simply slice those jalapenos open, get them cored out, or you can keep the seeds in if you want to kind of surprise people with a little extra heat. Once you get them cleaned out, we're just gonna simply dice them up, spread them across the top. I'll show you what this is gonna look like here real quick with just this part of this jalapeno, and I'll come back and finish it up off camera. Get my paper towel back off of there, so I'll just take some of those jalapenos, sprinkle them across the top. You could mix it in as well, or do a little bit of both. I'm gonna finish cutting these open, get them on top, and then what we're gonna do is put that on the smoker as well, and we'll be able to serve that with some tortilla chips. All right, you know what? Let's take a look here. It's been about an hour. Oh yeah. I like that bacon to get a little more crispier, so I'm gonna close that lid back. You can see some bubbling happening in there as well with that dip. We'll give it about 15 more minutes. All right, friends, jalapenos are off of the smoker, as well as that little extra dip we made as well. Let me begin to show you how we're gonna plate all this so people can enjoy it. All right, friends, we're gonna have a little fun plating this. Since this has been pulled off for a few minutes, the bottom shouldn't be too hot. This is dishwasher safe anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and grab that and put it right in the middle of our pan here as well, and then of that big old large platter. And then we're gonna start to grab our jalapenos, and we'll start to basically just start to plate those all around that dip as well. They smell absolutely delicious. The smell of that bacon. Whew. You can even smell the mixtures of those cheeses and that kind of that Cajun, that Creole seasoning we use. So it's come off the smoker here as well. So as you make jalapeno poppers like this, remember, figure out how crispy you want that bacon to be for yourself. Some people don't want it crispy at all. Some people might want it to be almost like burnt. It's really what you prefer as well, or what you think your guest might prefer if you're serving it to others as well. All right, so let's go ahead and get this last one on here. And actually, we might pull one back off and give it a taste test. Get that hot platter out of my way. There we go. All right, so there we go, my friends. There is those jalapenos with that Cajun crawfish mix that we made inside. The leftover mix as a dip in the middle. We'll let it cool for just a moment. We're gonna give both of them a taste test. What I have done is, thinking about the South, Cajun, Louisiana, even like Georgia and other places where you got that sweetness of those peaches, some bourbon in their ingredients. So we went with the Kinders, the bourbon, peach barbecue sauce. Drizzled some of that right on top of both the jalapenos and a little bit right down the middle here of the dip. Let's grab ourselves a knife and we're gonna grab ourselves a jalapeno and we're gonna give one of these a quick taste test, all right? So I'm gonna slice one open for us here. Open it up, check out the inside. Oh yeah, you can see that cream in there and everything else. That bacon's done perfectly. Taste test time. Oh. So good. Forget when you wrap in that bacon, that's just a lot to chew, even when I just split it in half like that. But man, you get the complexity of the cream cheese, the cheddar, and that Monterey Jack. You can definitely tell there's a mix of cheeses in there. I definitely got the texture of that crawfish as well. Really absolutely delicious. I'm glad we used those 2 seasonings with that Creole seasoning inside that mix and that holy voodoo on top of that bacon. All right, add a little heat on top as well. You know what? Let's give a taste test to that special dip we made as well, all right? Remember, we made the special dip. It wasn't an extra recipe at all. It was just using those same ingredients. We kind of basically doubled up on what we make for the filling, knowing we would have some extra, 1 or 2 extra jalapenos, and that way everybody can enjoy the same experience, whether they want to get a little messy with the jalapeno or just have a little dip with a chip. All right, here we go. Let's dig in. Oh, I don't know if you guys can see that. You can see those chunks of crawfish in there. Oh, this is gonna be absolutely delicious. Oh. So damn good. You guys are gonna love this. Tailgating season, parties for us. I mean, I might do this again about 2 weeks for the 4th of July. You never know. Absolutely delicious. Hope you guys enjoy this one today. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Make sure you share this recipe with your friends and hit that like button. We'll see you guys again on Bones and Brews.